Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers. Morning coffee or tea with American Scouser. It's Friday. Reckless Fridays are here. Man, feels like I have not been on a Friday in a long, long time. Haven't had a Reckless Friday in a while. It's only been like 2 weeks. What's going on, Anan?
Not much, man. Feeling as reckless as ever on this Reckless Friday. So let's get this show on the road, man.
Yeah, I thought you said let's skip the show, and I was like, that's not
I
reckless.
I could
That
use
is
a nap.
reckless.
That makes us reckless though. We just get everybody here and then just leave. That's called reckless, bro.
Speaking of reckless, Christmas is always almost here. We posted this yesterday as well. You're looking for a last minute gift, like people out of town that you want to send gifts to. Reckless is the place to go. RecklessCoffeeRoasters.com. Check them out over there. Support our sponsors, Liverpool owns and a fan and our sponsor. So there are multiple reasons to go hook yourself up with like some reckless coffee. Hook yourself up, hook another up. But yeah, give us a support our sponsors, and go check them out at recklesscoffeeroasters.com. I believe 17th is the last day to be able to kind of still get it and have it sent as a Christmas gift. What is going on? Good morning from my office break room, says John. Got the reckless coffee packed in a tumbler and it's halfway finished. Yeah, no John this morning. Good morning, you reckless maniac, says Ryan. Good morning, Sir Z. Alan, good morning to one and all. Let's get the show on the road. I figure we're going to focus a lot on the press conference because really a lot of stuff came out of this press conference. So, first off, let's start with the semi good news of Allison looking good. I don't know if good enough for tomorrow, though, it says. I'm assuming when you hear something like that, Anan, especially with a hamstring, if you're not sure, you don't go because it pushes you back all the way to step one if you play too early.
Yeah, and there's no need to rush him. Um, we will be okay against Palace. Everything will be okay. Callagher's doing an okay job, so let him rest it up. Give him one more week off, and then he comes back when it's time to play the Clowns. So we should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, last game, obviously, he had like a key say when it was 0-0 because we're going into the game. We were talking about that. He did make a critical save when the game was still tied,
Hmm.
and overall was decent. So
Yeah,
I guess more important than how we feel, it's important, especially since the game is away. It's really important how the boys feel with having him behind in goal. So as long as they're confident and it doesn't affect their game, I'm goal all for it. Ryan says he's good enough for United is what matters. I think so too. That's the game that you really need him to start a counter to basically make that critical save. Because United, I mean, they're gonna get their chances on the counter because that's how they like to play anyway. That's what they're more suited for anyway, and that's when you need a goalie like Allison to make like a critical save. Mecca on the other side, I own this on the same quote over there. Doesn't look good. We have to see day by day. We have to see how he shows up. I don't expect him to be ready for tomorrow, says Klopp. So does that mean this is Endo's, I think, first Premier League start, right?
no, he started. He started last. He started on Wednesday.
Oh shit! I guess that was a start. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he started on Wednesday. It just tells me it's gonna be, Endo, Saboslai, and probably Curtis Jones. Because
Do we?
I want to say Gravenberg, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think Jones will get the nod ahead of Ryan.
So who did you have again? You had
So
Endo.
Endo, Saboslai, and Curtis Jones.
Any concern with having those two guys play within like 4 days?
There's a lot of concern. I mean, that's why we're here, but got to get the best team out there to stay on top. And I know we're not on top of the league, but to stay on top, you got to get the best team out because right now it's a very critical time. You drop just 1-2 points and you could have screwed yourself over till the end of the season. So you got to go as strong as possible. Listen, if we have a decent lead, take those guys out, but we got to get the points. You got to stay as strong as possible. You have to finish the games early and you have to put your best team out there.
Even when those legs are tired, though? I guess that's my biggest concern, right? We did this before where we put our best team out there. So we kept trotting out Hendo and Fab and stuff, even though they had 60% legs.
And I
So
think
obviously, then it's not your best guy.
Yeah, that's why Jurgen wasn't too happy with that 12 the afternoon joke. He wasn't happy at all. He's like, we got 2 sessions, then we got to play again. Yeah, it sucks. It's not ideal, but that's the Premier League. That's the holiday season. We're used to it by now, and I all the players in the midfield are new. I don't know how used to it they are.
Yeah, that's true. I don't. Here's the thing, though. I don't know if they even care.
So only Jurgen cares, like he's the only one bitching.
I wish he would stop bitching about it. Honestly, I would. I mean, because I don't know what good it's doing. One,
Well,
and
it's got
two,
us a
I
holiday.
realize these guys are creature of habit and stuff like that. But we are only talking 2 hours earlier. I mean, we see it as 6:30. It's not 6:30 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. They're playing just basically 2 hours earlier than they would. It's not like they're getting an extra 2 days rest instead.
That 2 hours in the professional football world is a lot of time.
If
That
you
gives
put it
a
in your head, I think. I know this is
yeah,
on club. I
yeah.
personally put it on club. If you keep talking about it, those 2 hours are a big thing.
Well, did you see that graphic that showed that? See the graphic that showed in the last 10 years or whatever how many 12:30 time matches teams got, and Liverpool's got like 4 times more than everybody else.
No, I'm not saying it's evenly distributed, but I don't think it should be as big of a deal as the bitching makes it sound out to be. That's my personal opinion. I think it's like having a kid, right? If they complain about something, it's gonna come out more and more and more till they stop complaining about it. It's not gonna go away just because they started complaining. So I feel like the more we bitch about it, the more you're putting that in the player's head as a built-in excuse that we're playing an early game again. Why even keep talking? And I know he keeps being asked about it. It's not like he's coming out and
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
So they're trying to dig it in. Instead of feeding the frenzy, why say, you know what? We're just going to go out and play whenever the game is. Wouldn't that be a lot easier?
Yeah, I think he's at a stage where he just wants to make a point to change it. Just kind of like he complained so much about the holidays and all that. Now there's a Premier League holiday in January. So, I mean, like sometimes bitching too much works. Sometimes it works. And for somebody like Jurgen, he wants to make a point about this. And to be fair, yeah, you said it. He hasn't even talked about it. People bring it up. And I don't know who that pundit was, but that guy was such a dickhead. Like it was so unnecessary. You know, this is a sensitive topic. You know, he hates it. Why would you make a joke about this? Oh, your favorite kickoff time. He's trying to like start something, and honestly, Klopp fell for it. He fell for it because he went up. He's like, I don't know if you don't understand. You don't. I'm like, Jesus. Oh my God, he's not stopping. Oh my God, he's still going. I'm like, okay, this is good. But yeah, listen, I'm with the gaffer, man. 12:30. He hates 12:30. I hate 12:30 mainly because it's 7:30 here.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the early game too, but it's like just freaking stop bitching about it, I guess is my thing. And I understand because it's not paid off, right? He's bitched about it for years now.
Yeah.
It has not paid off. So at one point, you guys, but like I say, people keep bringing it up, but he can easily take the high road, even when they bring it up and say, hey, we look at the schedule, we see when the game is, and we go out and play it.
Yeah.
And next question. I mean, you're done instead of just freaking like feeling it. Ryan says, yeah, I hate it as a fan, but come on. You see it in baseball all the time. I mean, yeah, baseball though, to be fair. I mean, come on, Ryan. It's just dudes standing around scratching.
Yeah, and taking a break every 4 minutes, and then literally every 3 strikes, they're back in the dugout, just hanging out, chewing freaking gum and playing and like on their phones. That is absolutely not the same when you're running for 90 minutes. Absolutely not the same. Like no, just no.
But
Not
I know,
not.
like even football players, like they talk about, like in NFL, they're like going to the East Coast, blah blah blah. Like that 1 hour, 2 hour thing throws them off because they're a habit of creature. They have their game day things and stuff like that, and I get all that. But shit, by now we played so many times in this early kickoff. You would think you would have your own routine for these at one point, and it would be different if they were coming from like an international break or something like that. But
that's his biggest thing, though. The international. That's the only time he bitches about it when they're coming from an international break. Like the South American players arrive last night and they got to go play tomorrow at 12:30. That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. I give him that.
Listen, and if like we compare football players, if they were giving these soccer players freaking gas tanks and oxygen tanks on the sidelines, sure, I'm sure they'll be okay with playing the 12:30 game if they can stop. Hey, stop, guys! We're going to commercial. Everybody stay there, and they're like, okay, let's go to commercial. We'll be back. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be okay with it, but They won't, because they don't get that. They don't get the constant breaks and stoppages and just let's go. Even at stoppages now in soccer, it became more stressful because the stoppage means there's a VAR check and they're like, oh shit, am I getting kicked out or not? Is this goal getting canceled or not? What's going on here? So yeah, no, I would not compare them to any other athletes.
Early game is an early game. You adjust. If you can't go to Major League Soccer, that's all right.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. Early game is early game.
Yeah, Sparky says I'm the one who should be bitching about early starts for an early start. Yeah, because I mean, like obviously, I think that's what I mean. A lot of the U.S. fans, we see it as, yeah, man, it's an early game. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's an early game for us, but it's not as early of a game. And at the end of the day, it's only 2 hours earlier. I think last week we kicked off at 8 a.m. my time. It's going to be 6:30, so it's an hour and a half earlier. Like I say, I just don't want like a built-in excuse for players.
No, just keep in mind the 12:30 game means that players probably got to report at 9 or 10. They still got to go get their meal and they got to do all that. That 2 hours is crucial. I know we don't see it that way because we're not the players, we're just watching, but it's so crucial. What time the day before they got to go to sleep and just.
But if you do it so many times, so many freaking times, okay, let's say this, right? Our show in the morning. If you normally wake up at like freaking like 9 o'clock, you're like, oh, now I gotta get up at 8 to do the show, right? Maybe the first Friday, you're like, oh man, I'm not used to getting up like an hour earlier or whatever. But after the freaking 8th Friday, you would be like, okay, yeah, I do this every freaking Friday, man. I'm used to it by now.
I do this every Friday, and I'm late almost every Friday. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Bad analogy. Bad analogy. You just set yourself up.
To bring this up.
You just set yourself up. Thank you for confirming that it's not okay.
An away game to London, which is hours away from Merseyside. Okay, there's another thing I get a crack out of. I mean, I understand that, but they're not like, all jumping in like one car, squeezed in the back. He's like, Van Dijk, move your knee, man. It's tight back here. I mean, they are used to this. This is what they do. This is the job, and this is what they do.
They don't go in one of those yellow school buses?
Yeah.
I thought they did. Never mind. Then I'm okay with it. I thought they go in the yellow school bus, dude. No, we're good. Yeah. And they're all singing on the bus. No wheels on the bus go around, and But when it's an early game, they're all like grumpy. Like, just get over there.
Nobody's singing. Yeah.
I'm done with this shit. I'm getting $300,000 this week to do this. I don't want to do this anymore.
I mean, like I say, it's part of the thing that they should be used to, I guess, is my point. I understand it's a difference in your schedule, but I mean, we're not talking such a huge difference that it should be such a big deal that it's being brought up all the time. And I wish he would just not open that door at all and close the door immediately when it's open. When somebody is asking for it, say like, when is the kickoff?
Listen, if you poke the bear, you're gonna get a response, and that fucker poked him. So he didn't know what to say afterwards. Well, then the guy got. That was my favorite thing ever. I don't know who that pundit is. I really want to find out who it is because I'm sure he tweeted about it or said something, but I couldn't find out who.
I didn't catch that part. I just saw like the transcript, so it's probably like James Pierce or somebody like that. Most teams are only 2 injuries away from a real problem, he says, because he was talking about like how many issues we have, and we're gonna get to the biggest one because that's where the major conversation was around. But I mean, you kind of see it in City as well. I think. I mean, you kind of look at, I guess he's from Amazon.
He's from Amazon.
Like the jungle or
yes, the jungle. That's why he wasn't sure what. He's not aware of times because he lives in the jungle.
He just came out. He's like, what are these game times? I mean, you saw it in City. Like their bench does not look. You used to look at the City bench, right? And you'd be like, you can pull out a national team out of this bench and stuff. And you really can't anymore. I feel like even now, you can kind of look at the bench and say, hey, we have options and stuff like that. Even with injuries, last game, we were like, hey, you can bring Nunez off the bench. You can bring Gravenberch off the bench. You had like some options to bring in. So I almost feel like we probably, despite injuries, still have the deepest squad as of now, barring more injuries this time of year.
And bringing up the City situation, yes, they're probably an injury away from being, calling it a season. But the reason why their benches isn't what it used to be is because they sold to balance the books and avoid all those financial fair play. Nobody talks about that, and everybody makes it seem like, oh, it sucks for City. See, they're such a normal team like everybody else. No, they're just trying not to get caught, and they're being investigated again and again and again, and they're gonna get caught, but obviously no deductions because they have some good Habibi lawyers, so everything's gonna be okay. But the reason why their bench is so weak is for that reason. And honestly, at the last international break, older players faking injuries to come back and pretend like nothing happened. That was the stupidest, most assholish thing they've ever done. But yeah, I think we've got the strongest looking bench because right now, with McAllister out, we're like, okay, so do we play Elliott, Jones, or Gravenberg? Like, how do we do this? Versus last year, Henderson's out. Okay, season's over. Everybody go home. We got nothing to do. We're done. So no, this is a good thing. We haven't seen this in a while, and I like it. It gives us options because McAllister, I'm gonna say it, was being misused. So right now, this could be a good thing that he's out for 1 week because now Endo can cement that number 6 position. Because I've been wanting this to happen all season. I want Endo to cement his name in the number 6 position, and then we play Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai.
Yeah, it's a shame that we didn't get to see the full effect because I think he got that knock really early, and I think somebody was asking earlier in the chat that what was wrong with him, and I think basically he had a cut, and I mean the play probably from the cleats that was on his knee. He had a cut and he got stitches for it, so I kind of assumed he would not be out right away, but I would think he would be ready for the United game as well. Let's face it, like we kind of have like pretty much a meaningless game for the Europa next week. Midweek. That's why it was important to finish off the deal early. This is exactly why, because then you can kind of rest all these guys, not even risk anybody, and then just do what you got to do. Even if you don't get this result, it is what it is.
Right.
And then you get ready for the Premier League. I mean, these are kind of like huge weeks. I mean, this week, especially with Arsenal going to Villa, I know that was asked about it as well. And obviously the answer was, either way, you're going to have to get 3 points. So it doesn't matter. I don't think it's too early in the season, I think, to put pressure on another team with your results. Everybody knows right now you got to keep getting the threes. You got to keep getting the threes. It's like when you're like 10 weeks to go or 15 weeks to go, I think, when you get to early game and you win, I feel like then you're putting pressure. But it feels like, points can be made up at this point, so the pressure would not be as high.
Yeah, I agree.
And which is what he was pretty much saying. But here we go. Dude, if you were going to be able to type, you should have just been on the show for guys. We should have gotten the camera in that break room over there for John.
You guys think boss is here? Boss is here. What were you doing? Reading some training material?
Okay. Yeah, he probably have to hang up by now because the boss just walked by. Yeah. But should be untouchable on that right side. Thinking that's what needs a rest. Also, constantly has been informed for around a month now. Harvey or Jones there, maybe. Hold on, you disappeared on me.
What?
I am hoping. Your camera disappeared on us. Is your boss walking by too, or what?
It looks like it. What the hell did John do to me? I am so confused.
Man, it is a reckless Friday, that's for sure.
And I got like a freaking ghost here or something. Turned off my camera because I'm looking at it.
Szoboszlai, since you're in the background, I feel like hosting a radio show now. Like, we got Anand on the phone from.
Hey guys, I just want to say I dedicate this episode to my grandmother.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Not even the right cam.
So Szoboszlai in the background, at least your sound is still here, which actually most fans might be happy that your camera is out. We just getting sound. They're probably hoping the sun goes out too. But no, seriously, Szoboszlai, where are you at with that?
I think he should be a cemented starter regardless of form. He's our best midfielder. And this is a conversation I've heard a few people have in our other shows where he's like, oh, he's oh man, he's horrible. He's having a rough time. This, and that. Doesn't matter. To me, he's a cemented starter that you don't touch.
Is that even fair, though, to have a guy who doesn't perform, but he's like, you're starting? I mean, if you're a guy behind him, isn't that how you lose people? When the guy in front of you is shit, but you still don't get a chance?
I mean, have you seen us last season?
exactly my point, where
Well,
we kept
midfield is
trotting out the
shit.
same shit regardless of, and then we saw at the end where we were like, hey, Curtis, go out there. Oh, the disappointment in everyone. Curtis, you trot Curtis out there and you say, hey, here's your opportunity, and he makes the most of it, and we're suddenly like, oh, we had a midfielder, I guess, that could run.
Yeah, but so we started the season so strong. Sabasala started the season so strong, and we were like, "Oh my god, this guy's gonna win the Ballon d'Or one day. He's the greatest thing ever." Then he has a drop in form, and now we're like, maybe we should drop him to fix things. No, keep him playing. Help him get that rhythm back. In games like Palace, in games like Sheffield, these are the games where he can have the ball more, where he can be more comfortable, where he can create and also feel good about himself. And that's where I am. I said the same thing about Darwin when he wasn't performing. I said the same thing about last season about players that weren't performing. Keep them playing, they'll catch up. But if you bench them, which is such a Jurgen thing to do, by the way, but if you bench them and you're like, hey, when they come back to form, I'll let you play. They'll come in so confused when they're back, just like when Curtis Jones came
I don't
back.
think
And
we're saying bench him for a freaking month, but give him a rest, because maybe rest is the issue. Like, do you think Szoboszlai left that Sheffield game saying, I'm coming back, baby, it's all coming back?
Well, he definitely didn't say it's coming home. So no, he left that game saying, "Oof, we got to win," just like everybody else.
Even with the goal, I don't think he was like, yeah, baby, I'm back. I mean, he had that goal, so you don't know, like, if he can build on that. And like I say, I'm not saying like bench him for a month or whatever.
Well, the good news is after Palace, we got the Europa. He can rest him over there. He can rest all the guys over there, and then go at United. Would I rest them early tomorrow? If tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Yeah.
It is
Would
tomorrow.
yeah, like it's not Tuesday, but this game is not Wednesday this week. Would I bench him early tomorrow? Would I take him out and get kind of everybody rested if we have a comfortable lead? Absolutely. But other than that, I would just, like I said, play your strongest team, keep them on until you guarantee the win. And by the way, I got an insider in the game when he scored last week, Szoboszlai. He didn't say I'm back. He looked at Darwin and said, "You're the best thing to happen to football."
Yes.
And he
tried to, he was going to say something to Thiago, but he wasn't even on the sideline.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
Szoboszlai shit is still better than Jones, says Sparky. I was waiting for that, but
good man, Sparky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Jones, gets the start tomorrow instead of Mac. I mean, if you're going with that midfield,
yeah, definitely.
I think that's what you're getting. But then again, Gravenberch, you might get both. I mean, in some ways, I wouldn't mind an Endo, Jones, Gravenberch. How about the apples?
I would take it. But I feel like Gravenberch will start that Thursday game, so he'll have him a cameo appearance tomorrow for the last 20 minutes or so.
That's fair too. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what we do. I mean, I don't think it's like long. I think he's back for United. It's just a matter of like stages. He's just not ready for tomorrow. So we got another week.
More of a bruise or knock than like a serious injury. Yeah,
because he got the stitches, so I'm sure that thing is sore as hell. And I think maybe Klopp is finally understanding, or maybe because we have options, that instead of playing a guy who's kind of like 70-80% and you can suddenly knock him out for another 2-3 weeks because something else happens, you do have quality options. Why even risk it is maybe where we're at right now with the squad, right? So the biggest news obviously is Matip being out, and he was asked a ton of questions about it. I mean, I feel so bad because he's one of my favorite players, really, just because of his attitude, not only his game, but his attitude and how he carries himself. And dude is hilarious just to look at him, listen to him. I don't know.
Yeah.
First of all, you never expect that accent coming out of him because of his like German background. So that totally throws everything out for me anyway. He has this like weird German/French accent thing going. But it's a big loss in terms of the squad. So 2 questions. One, let's start with January. He was asked about, will we sign anybody? And obviously he's going to be like, I don't think so, unless somebody puts it under the tree for us, blah, blah, blah. But that's what Klopp is going to say. What do you think is going to happen? Does that kind of say, hey, we got to go out and get a...
I have been pushing for a center back all summer, and I was hoping for one in January. But with the emergence of Kwanzaa, I don't think we'll be signing a center back. I don't think we'll make any additions if it's not Andre, honestly. That's the only thing that could potentially happen. It would be Andre. Other than that, no movement's going to happen. We might see some outs, like not out, but contract agreement. Like we could see, I think Mata played his last game for Liverpool. I was actually all for giving him another 1 or 2 year deal when we were talking about it last week, but this injury closes the door on that.
I was going to say that because so he is asked about that, right? And he says somewhere here that he would like to, but it's not his decision. And I don't know if that means kind of like
Sounds like a decision's been made.
right. I mean, he made it sound like it's not my decision. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means, we'll offer him something, but I don't know he'll take it, or like the powers that be are going to be like, hey man, we're not going to sign a guy just because you like him.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, he's old. And we've seen how that kind of an injury affected Van Dijk coming back. So
Yeah.
you don't have 2 years for Matip to come back.
Yeah. And that's why I think we saw him in Liverpool that last game for the last time. Last time we see him in a Liverpool shirt. So now we go back to, Big Verge, Konate, Gomez, Kwanzaa, and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, because basically the quote is, I would say so, where like there's a chance of a new deal. It's not my decision. And I don't know if that means he doesn't want to say, yes, it will happen because we don't know what Matip is going to take based on what we offer him.
Maybe, yeah.
Or, like I say, if somebody's going to be like, hey, man, yeah, we're not making that offer. Kind of like the whole Milner situation.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he wanted to extend Milner as well, but maybe we were not willing to pay. And in some ways, as much as we love players and as much as I love Matip, financially it doesn't make a lot of sense to give him an expensive contract. Offering him a contract, I can see just because of his like leadership and like the locker room thing and all that kind of stuff. But like depends on the amount is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, and also putting finances aside, it's you're giving a guy a spot in his squad where he's gonna miss more games that he might play, which is totally okay if you're from Spain. But and that just takes away that spot from you that you can give it to a new defender, a new player. Maybe that gives us an opportunity to start looking for a new long-term defender, or that gives us an opportunity to have one of the younger guys step up versus keep relying on the old of what you have, and that sometimes closes the door on opportunities for you.
Ryan says, seriously, get a center back on loan in January, buy one this summer, maybe 2. I do not want a loan in January.
Loans, no Ozan Kabaks, no loans, no
Yeah,
no
because it will
Steven
be
Cocker.
Kabak finally at least played.
Yeah.
Cole Phillips back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm saying, because Klopp is not going to play him. It's going to be like that Davies dude. We will never see him.
Nice guy.
He will be just a dude. He'll be there just nice guy. He'll be there just to practice. He's a good boy, blah, blah, blah. He's getting used to it. He'll be called on when we need it. But then we'll probably still play like Endo as a center back or something like that instead. So I just don't want, if we're going to get somebody, let's get somebody that we want. If he's not there, let's just stay with Kwanzaa.
Yeah. And in worst case scenario, we've seen that obviously Darwin can do everything. We saw that beautiful tackle in that goal. So if needed, he can.
The one that almost could have been a red. That one.
Yeah, yeah. He could be a center back. Now he will give away quite a few penalties, but good guy. His heart is there. So we're okay.
He tries. He really tries.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. Like I say, the only concern I have is, I guess this really hinges a little bit on Robertson, right? Because you're using Gomez right now. I don't know if I want Gomez in a triple role as he is now for the rest of the season all the way.
Yeah.
As a left back backup, right back backup, and a center back backup, because that's a lot of games for Gomez as well, who doesn't have the best record of staying healthy himself.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear. Right now, I'm just worried about Gomez because I feel like he's played more games than he should, and he's very injury prone. And I'm afraid that we're also a few games away from a Gomez season-ending injury. I don't know why I have that bad feeling. I just every time I see him go down or somebody tackle him or push him or shove him, like, shit, here we go, and then he gets up. Thank you. So yeah, that's one of those. And I don't know why Timikos didn't start. I was so confused. if
You gotta
Timikas is
rest these guys,
fit,
man. He doesn't play a lot either. I mean, Costas played more games in the last month than he's played in the last 2 years, probably.
yeah, okay, that's valid. That's valid. I'll take that.
And I'm assuming that's what it was. Like he's going to start tomorrow. Like he got his rest. But that's what I mean. You can't use Gomez to go around and back up everybody for the long term. And I guess this is the more important part is not the we can't get a good body on loan, because I don't think we can get a good body on loan. You can get a body. I don't know about a good body. I mean, unless you loan
He'll
him.
be a good boy, not
Yeah,
necessarily a
yeah,
good
good
body,
boy.
though.
He's a really good kid.
Yeah.
What if Konate gets hurt, which he will? That's probably the bigger concern, along with Gomez, that what we have is very likely to get hurt, sadly.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I think they will be here. Like, I understand we need another center back. I just don't want another body, like Ryan says, because our manager does not play bodies.
Yeah.
Like, if he's not sold on it, if he didn't want it, he's not going to play you.
Right.
I mean, we played freaking midfielders as center backs for 2 goddamn months until he finally gave up and actually played the center backs he already had in the squads finally there. So he's just not going to play him. So he's going to back up Endo as the center back. And that's not what I want. That's when the mess happens. If you're going to get somebody, let's go get somebody and spend the money. Because, I mean, who's going to give a really good center back and say, yeah, you guys can loan him? I mean, if I'm a team giving away my good center back or a young center back or whatever, I want to at least get my money's worth. I'm not going to give him to you on loan, I guess is the deal.
Yeah. I agree.
So
and honestly, who loans a decent player out just for no reason?
Nobody. Yeah, if anything, they're going to want their money. I mean, if you're losing a center back in January, where it's probably going to be hard to replace, and here's another thing, like this January, everybody is going to be kind of in a tricky situation because they're going to have players away. They're going to have like this guy there. So they're already short-handed themselves because the African Cup is going on. The Asian Cup is going on. So it's going to be pretty trickier to find these players, I feel, in January compared to a regular January. But I do think, ideally, yes, I would like to buy a center back in January. But knowing Klopp and knowing this club, unless it's somebody we want at the price we want, sadly, I worry that we stick with what we got.
Just bring back Sepp Vandenberg. Just bring him back. And that loan at Mainz and just bring him back. And I'm honestly very serious.
I would rather bring Sepp back than Phillips.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm very serious about that. I would bring Sepp back. Kid has shown some... He's good. He's stepped up. He's shown talent. He's shown, he's a good player. Not the greatest, but if we need to, we've got options to bring back like Sepp, like Phillips, if must be, Milner, so there's options out there. Yeah, we're not gonna sign.
We can loan Milner probably from Brighton.
We're not gonna sign a defender in January. That's just what I think. If we are to get a defender, it'll be in the summer, and it'll be one of those long-term deals where we identify a guy to be the next big thing, and he'll hold that line, and he'll just stay there.
I was already banging my head on the wall for missing out on this guy, but Van der Ven would be, I know he's injured right now, but would have been, I mean, that kid looks like would be a perfect fit, and we kind of like missed out on that deal. And I know he probably didn't want to sit behind Van Dijk possibly and not have a spot and stuff like that too, but this is the season I think we find out about Konate and long-term center back situation as well. Just because of this, because we're going to see a lot of Konate, we're going to see a lot of Gomez. So I think we're going to figure out our long-term answer. If you looked in your crystal ball right now, do you think we come out at the end of the season and say Konate was the answer all along and he stays healthy? Oh, there we go. That's not a crystal ball, but
no, he gets injured.
He does get injured. Yeah, that's swap Thiago for a defender, says Brian. I mean,
he can play back there.
But yeah, who's gonna give anything for a physio table that you push out there? You're like, how about this guy's table comes with a player? So let's look at tomorrow. Back four: Konate, Van Dijk, Trent, Costas. Right? We're in agreement there.
That is the right way to do it.
Keller in goal. Midfield.
For me, it's going to be Endo, Szoboszlai, and Jones.
Endo Soboslai Jones. That seems the most likely, I have to say. I wondered if Gravenberg gets a sniff, but I don't think he gets a sniff as defensive mid. And I think Jones would go before Gravenberg, especially on this game. So we're agreements in there as well.
Weird.
Front three. Yeah, this is going way too smooth. See, when John is not here, we just get along.
Yeah, he starts all this shit. It's all on John. Stay in the break room, John. Front three, what I want versus what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Because what I want is Salah, Darwin, Diaz.
I thought you were gonna be like Nunez.
Just him by himself once, we're good. But what's gonna happen is Salah, Gakpo, Diaz.
Really? What makes you say that?
Jurgen Klopp's our manager. I think he gives Gakpo the go ahead, and then brings on Darwin when he's like, ah, shit, I made a mistake, and then we win the game. But that's a whole different conversation. Yeah, I think he starts with Gakpo. This is a Palace game where you're gonna need to kind of pass your way around their back four. You're gonna need to pass your way around. They're parking the bus and not just directly run at them like Darwin would. So he starts Gakpo and then he brings on Darwin when they're.
Whoa. Let's back the truck out over here and dissect the statement a little, shall we? So you're saying when we play against teams that sit back and we have to break down a defense, Nunez is not your starting 11 choice.
Just tomorrow.
Okay,
tomorrow.
Let's back up a little bit because you made a statement.
It's not me.
You
but
said
it's,
when
that's
we
not,
have to pass
me.
around the defense.
That's what Jurgen thinks, not me.
Oh. So you
let
think
me
Nunez
save
can
face here.
pass around the defense? No.
I think Nunez can eat the defense alive. I think Nunez can eat the defense alive. I think he can just do anything he wants to, but I don't think Jurgen sees him as that. I think he sees him as the guy who's going to come in and create chaos and get the last minute winners and just do crazy stuff, which is wrong. But again, he's the manager. I'm sitting here on a chair spinning around and talking about this. So I won't argue. It's wrong, but I won't argue. If it was me, Nunez starts every single game in that number 9 role. And then because he's the best.
Your extreme bias. Why?
Like because he's the best striker we have. He's one of the best. Let's start. The most gifted player on that field, the smartest, the hardest working.
Whoa. No.
The hardest working.
Without bias.
The hardest working and the most talented.
Physically talented, right? Like in terms of like speed and size and stuff like that.
Speed, size, ball at his feet, everything.
What, smart?
Everything. It's very smart. How many strikers would have made that tackle that he did on Wednesday?
Yeah, you just lost credibility.
How many strikers would have made the tackle that he did on Wednesday?
You mean after you lost the ball on a counter?
How many strikers would have made that tackle?
Not in the way he did, no. But how is that smart? Because you missed the ball, he's getting a red that day.
Did he miss the ball?
Oh, that's not the decision you make before you make the tackle, though. You don't make the tackle and say, "Oh, I got the ball, so that was a good decision." The decision is made before you slide in there. Saying
if the tackle was bad, it would have been red, right?
Oh, easily. It would be the second yellow.
Okay.
He already had a stupid yellow for taking the ball away needlessly.
And if my aunt had a ball sack, she'd be my uncle. You see what we're doing here? It doesn't.
We're not. We're not doing that there. So because you use that as an example of his smartness, and I think that's a negative of smartness.
That's brilliant because he saw that he can make that tackle, time his tackle, get the ball, and then the smart is passing that ball to Dom, getting that ball over there in such quick succession. Is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And you know what? You guys can hate on Darwin all you want. Y'all are reckless.
This is like the needless Nunez defending sessions that you put on because Darwin did not that ball for Trent's winner.
Reckless.
No, I mean, when you look back at that game where I felt he played poorly overall, the Fulham game, he's involved in a lot of the goals, even in in Szoboszlai's Trent's free kick goal. He is. The second one, the third, last one, he is involved in there. But I would also argue that if he was a bit better at interplay the first half, we would never be put into that situation in the first place. Not to mention, he probably eliminated in that game one of the best assists that we have seen in a long time. I mean, we still see that one with Bobby doing the spin and giving it to Mo, where he just like runs and finishes it out. We will still watch that assist. That header pass that Mo does to Nunez in that game, you would probably watch for a few decades and you would see it as one of the best assists. But you can't because Nunez didn't finish it.
Well, chances can be missed, chances can be made.
Which chances, honestly, like I don't harp on him as much on chances missed. I harp on him more about the interplay. I mean, how many times was he offside that game and stopped an attack because he was off needlessly for a guy that fast? Things like that. So that's why when you say smartness, that's the word I pick on, because I feel that's one thing that he lacks in, because he loses his head and because he feels with so much emotion, there's not a lot of brain involved.
Let me take smartness back and let me say let me take smartness back and let me say brilliance.
Oh, God.
How about that?
I thought it was going to get better. It only got word.
How about that? Don't be reckless over here talking about Darwin. Reckless Darwin, actually. I like that.
Sergi says, do you want a new shovel for the hole you're digging yourself? Yeah, because he's in there now. He needs a ladder to get out now. That's why he's trying to get out of the thing. But and that Ryan says not all saying he's dumb, but yeah, I mean he's not. I feel like
I said, maybe not the smartest.
I don't know, it's maturity. Is that age?
It's maturity. That's exactly what it is. Maybe not the smartest, but listen, Suarez wasn't the smartest either.
No, initially.
Exactly. Initially. See? Let me keep digging out of the hole because it's working here.
They don't mature till they're 25?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just got that. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay. We've got
we went from Einstein to I think he'll be okay.
We've got one of the best players in the world in our hands, and it's just how we develop him and how we support him and how we get him there. Just remember this. My children, remember this.
Yeah, because you would have to be a children to remember it, because you're going to be a grown-ass adult by the time it pays off. But, yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I got nothing against him. The chances missed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He does have to mature, because that tackle, for example, is not as risky if he doesn't get that stupid yellow card or
right.
kicking the ball away and stuff like that. So,
and that was stupid. That was absolutely stupid. It's such a Darwin thing to do. It cracked me up. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, aha, that's my guy. And then he just blows a kiss to defense. I thought that was amazing too. Like, what a guy, man. What a guy.
I think he will over time get that and use it to his advantage and stuff like that. I do pick Gakpo over him still, because I think it plays to the strengths of both players, kind of like what you're saying. Because Gakpo can be in there for the interplay to pass around them. If that shit does not work and you can't break down that defense, you're like you break glass and pop out Nunez, or he just walks out through the glass anyway, and then you throw him out there and you say, well, deal with this crazy, and then see what they do and see if it causes some havoc, or maybe have them both on there at the same time to kind of like double the pressure on Palace.
Yeah.
I feel like that works better than putting Nunez out there and hoping for the best.
I like that more, but yeah, having both of them out there with Gakpo taking like kind of like that false nine, or like that open free, that role where he played for Holland and a lot in the World Cup. I like that idea. Nunez just be the 9 and Gakpo would just be free flowing behind him or next to him. I think that would work too. And I'm all for a 4-4-2. We saw it a couple of games last season and we kind of liked it. So I'm open to it.
So let's get a prediction for tomorrow before we head out. We'll be live in the crack of dawn, and we'll be complaining about it, how early it is. And
yeah,
stuff like that. I'll do a
you better not complain about it and get used to it, since you've done it so many times. Those guys have to run for 2 hours.
Dude, I'll tell you what, we had an article go out earlier this week on the website. If you have not seen, so check it out, in terms of like what we have to do as US fans here for like the early games and stuff like that. And I think it has gotten the most reaction of any of our articles that we post out there because everybody was spilling their guts
Everyone
about
felt
and,
it. It was like,
and it's funny, like everybody has their own thing. Like some people watch it in bed, which and you would probably kill me because I can't just sit and watch like it's a library. So but everybody has their little routine. Somebody gets up 10 minutes early just in time to make coffee and stuff like that. So it was like very interesting to see how everybody has their thing.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah. See, it just sucks for the people that are in the like in California and like
Yeah.
Nevada and like that. That's like the worst because those people gotta be up at. Well, if the game's at 6 over here, it's 3 a.m. over there. Just don't go to sleep. Especially if you're in Nevada. Just stay out in Vegas until 2:30 and then go home and just watch the game.
That's what I
Yeah,
would.
for me, it's just I set an alarm. If the game is at 7, I set the alarm at 6:30 so I can hit snooze twice and wake up at 6:50. Make my way down, grab a cup of tea, just fill up a mug of tea with 4 spoons of sugar, turn on the TV.
God damn.
Yeah, I
Why
am.
don't you fill a cup of sugar with 4 ounces of tea or something?
That's what everybody says. It's like, here's your sugar. We added a little bit of tea. And then I go downstairs to the basement, turn on the TV, turn off the lights. I've got like the ambient lighting behind the TV where it's red and then the room red. Turn it all red and just sit down, fall asleep by the 4th minute, and then wake up when the commentator is like, "Oh, it's in Darwin Nunez," and I wake up and that's it. And so it hasn't
They're
happened
showing an
much.
old highlight or something from
So
him.
so I've been
But
sleeping throughout the whole game for the last 4 weeks.
see, yeah, normally I probably get up around like 6:20, like 10 minutes before kickoff, struggle down there. I don't even like I make the coffee as kind of like the game starts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But obviously when we do the pre-match and stuff like that, you have to get up earlier. So I'll be complaining about that in my press conference if you guys want to join later on and ask me
I'll
about
make sure I ask you about it. How's your
Yeah.
favorite kickoff time? I got you. I got you.
You
I'll
know
make
what?
sure
It
I
might be
ask.
funny to you, Anon, but
Yeah. Oh, you think that's funny? Oh my god.
okay, score prediction.
We're not gonna keep a clean sheet. I'm worried. So 3-1.
3-1. That's much in special. I'm going with a 2-0 on this one. And
You
I
think we'll get a clean
actually-
sheet?
I feel like this is the same as the Sheffield game. Painful as hell. Where it's a team that struggles. Sparky, I'm afraid of that. That's why I don't want to say that shit. And I'm not gonna even read that shit. But
That's
yeah,
bad juju.
yeah, that is bad. Yeah, don't want to put that out in the universe. But I am hoping, like, even if it's painful, I really don't care as long as we get the 3 points, go top of the league. I think it's an emotional bonus for the players, not necessarily because it's pressure on Arsenal or anything like that. Arsenal will have enough pressure going
Yeah.
away to Villa the way it is because Villa.
I think Villa has the most pressure right now, though. I think Villa is the team in the league that has the most pressure. In the summer, when we were talking about the teams to watch, I said Villa. I didn't think they would do that good, but I was thinking like top 7, 8. I did not anticipate this. But then I watched them, and then after the game, Pep starts talking about, oh my God, Villa are total title contenders. Everybody's got to watch out for them. And now Mr. Good Evening is like, shit, now everybody's watching me. And now Villa is under so much pressure because they come from beating City. Now they're playing the league leaders, Arsenal. They got to go out there and perform, and they can't drop down a notch because if they do, they're going to get creamed and it's going to look really bad. And now everybody's going to start doubting him again. So I think Villa have so much pressure in that Sunday game, and Arsenal are going to come in so calm because guess what? Everybody's looking at Villa. Nobody's looking at Arsenal. And that is such a disadvantage for us. I hate it. Yeah. I was so happy when Villa beat City.
That sense of it. I mean, I literally was going to say the same exact thing, which is really getting scary. But Villa is playing with house money. I was about to say it, then I'm like, somebody just wrote what's in my brain. But I think because Shay, who's on our like panel on Wednesday nights, when we were talking about it in the beginning of the season, it was more like a solid season and get a trophy with the conference and stuff. Yeah. And I don't think they're getting to a stage where they're like, wait, what? Could this happen? Leicester City kind of a deal.
Right.
But I do think the problem with them is Unai doesn't like rotating. And this kind of like this time of year is going to be a challenge on them. And they're not as deep and they're not as good away. But at the same time, Emery knows how to set up a team against other teams. And I am sure he will love to get something on Arsenal, as long as I hope he doesn't outthink himself and like kind of screw himself by trying to do something out of the box. Just do what you're doing.
Yeah, the way he played City was so perfect. Limited their chances to attack, limited them away from the goal, kept Haaland silent, and was able to get that out of nowhere one goal and then continue to play your game. I thought that was good. I just don't think you go against Arsenal with the same idea and everybody's watching you. That pressure is on the players. Coming from Wednesday
Yeah,
against City to the weekend against Arsenal, and now everybody's got their eyes on you. Everybody's talking about you being a title contender. Maybe they won't crack under pressure, and it's just in my head. But I'm just worried for them that this could be a bad game.
and I feel like that's really, when we look at the schedule and we say, oh, we got Newcastle away out of the way, Chelsea away, and so like we count these games like City away and stuff like that. But one thing that we will have left is Villa away, because it's a lot tougher away game than a home game. I was shocked. I thought that was going to be a really tough game at home. I think that early goal and stuff like that. I still look at it as like one of our easiest, smoothest
Yeah,
wins.
I remember
Shocking.
I remember the show the Friday before the game. We were all like, "Oh boy,
Yeah.
this is not going to be good." And then we got back to phone. We were like, "Well, that was okay,
Yeah,
delete that episode."
that's when like we were worried about Mac, we were
Yeah.
worried about the back line, how we're gonna defend. They're gonna like pick us apart and stuff like that, and that somehow ended up being the Sir says
One of the
Villa
best
3,
games.
Arsenal 0 with a Watkins brace. I mean, hey, I would love that.
Sir Z probably has him in his fantasy league.
The
That's what
Watkins
he,
thing, yeah,
yeah,
that sounded
yeah,
like a nasty comment at
yeah.
the end.
Wait, did he say no one's saying? What did Sparky say? Sorry, I missed that. I think Sparky said something.
No one's
No one
saying
is
Villa
saying.
saying top 4.
Well,
I mean,
Guardiola did a whole speech about how Villa are title contenders.
of course, I was gonna say that, but
Yeah,
like honestly, like I say, like
I think they're title contenders. By the way,
I don't.
I think it's a very, very serious thing for Villa this year. Listen, it may not last till February or March, but right now they look like title contenders. Their last,
Yeah,
what is it? Their last
problem,
13
right?
home games.
How you look December is like,
Yeah, but see, December is what make or break. What if they beat Arsenal and continue to build on it? I mean, this team has an advantage that nobody else has. They have absolutely no serious pressure on them.
And that's what I was asking, like Shay, like starting the season saying maybe a Champions League spot and then, win the cup in Europe, get a European cup. But now I don't know if that kind of like says, wait, man, we got a Premier League shot, screw the European Cup, or do they just keep going at it? I think the issue is the depth and how they can cope with that schedule as those other games get tougher. I mean, right now, the Conference Cup is like, you just show up as Villa and, you can make things happen even with your backups and stuff. As you advance, you're not going to be able to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And those midweek games are going to get tougher. That's when I feel like they fall off because they don't have that depth.
Villa's the type of team that sees how well they're doing now and decide to strengthen their squad in January.
Yeah.
We're not, but they are. So this is something that could be a good thing for them. You really never know. I think they're title contenders for now. I don't know how long it'll last, but as of right now, to me,
have like title contenders for now in the first week of December. You either are a title contender or if you're gonna fall off, if you think they're going to fall off, then they're not title contenders.
Well, listen, they're not gonna be at Tottenham where they're like they won the league in the first 2 months and now they haven't seen a sniff of a goal or a win. See, that's a different ballgame. I think they'll finish. Here's where I'll leave it. I think Villa finish above Tottenham, Manchester United, and Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea's a given.
Yeah,
I can go. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think they finish above them, and that by itself is a huge. Basically, yeah. But if United make it fourth, then Villa's third. This is how hard I'm willing to go on this one. Can they knock out a City or an Arsenal or a freaking whoever it is out of the top 4? Yes. This is where I'm trying to get with this. I think Villa is a serious deal. Us, City, Arsenal.
So you're saying they're going to go above Newcastle as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think Eddie Howe gets fired before the end of the season.
No way.
I think Eddie Howe gets fired before the end of the season.
Nah, no way. Why would you even say that?
I'll put money on
over there. Well, I don't know how much Eddie Howe does. His assistant doing all the work.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even then, they love him over there. His assistant loves him because he just throws Eddie Howe in front, and then
Yeah.
when he
No,
has to,
listen, Eddie's a good coach, and I think Newcastle have bigger aspirations than Eddie Howe. So I don't think he makes it till the end of the season.
nah.
There's a lot of Saudi money involved to keep a not winning manager. This
See,
is
I honestly feel like, yeah, but it is a winning manager. I mean,
is he?
okay, so if they get knocked out of the Champions League, and then if they keep falling, I still don't think so.
Okay, I think he gets fired.
Because
A
of all the
Mourinho comes
injuries
in.
and stuff like that. I think actually, maybe in a shocking kind of way, Newcastle, when they got the new ownership, we always thought, oh, they're gonna go out there and
Yeah,
they're gonna pull like a Chelsea, right? Is
yeah,
what everybody assumed. They have not. They have like added pieces as they go and good pieces as they go.
useful. Yeah,
So I think they would be. That's why I feel like they're a bit more long-term thinking than your regular, like what we assume a Saudi owner
money
would
spenders.
going
Yeah,
to trigger early, like the PSG owner or something like that. I feel like they're a bit smarter and more long-term thinking. But by the way, did Anand say money? He says, "I'll take that bet." Bets
I
are.
will. I will put money on it. Yes.
You're putting whoa, time out. You're putting money on that Eddie was not going to finish the season.
Yes.
We're on. Done.
Okay.
You name the amount you want to lose and donate to the Timuchin Fund.
Done.
Yeah, you can.
Done. And that same amount will be donated to the Darwin Season Foundation. When I
Darwin's
it's
Darwin's
actually, to
Great
be
Fund.
honest, I have to make, because I haven't made one of these jokes all day, so I have to do a Tiago joke. whatever whatever money I get will go towards Tiago's hip treatment. Here we go. I'm done. I just had to make one. I don't want to get yelled at. Just one.
Oh yeah, everybody's taking that bet. So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
like open up like a thing on the website where people can register to get into this bet, and you can just
Okay, this is
enter
turning
how
into
much.
a legal settlement here, where everybody's on the bet. Everybody gets like 4 cents at the end of the season. Sure, okay, I'll do it. Sign
Oh
me up.
man. Okay. Well, yeah. Just log in and just enter how much you want to win from Anand, and he will just send it to you at the end of the season. But we'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early. No bitching and complaining, and we'll be here for the pre-match. I don't know how long ago. I don't know. One of the East Coast boys will probably host that one because time works out better for them. But we'll be here once the lineup comes out. We'll talk about that. And of course, we'll be here right for post match as well, hopefully, after getting 3 points. 3-1 for Anand. Ryan only wants $13. Dude, this is like a sucker bet. I would go higher than that. 1,300, 13,000. Yeah. And I'm going with the 2-0. I'm not even telling what Sparky is going with. But we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome Friday afternoon and evening. See you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Nap time.